me in my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me in my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me in my house, you will find us serving peace. Peace for all right now. Here we go. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. Peace for all right now. You're getting it? As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. Peace for all right now. How about love? As for me and my house, you will find us serving love. As for me and my house, you will find us serving love. As for me and my house, you will find us serving love. Love for all right now. This is actually based on a Bible verse, Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, you will find us serving the Lord. So we're taking a little spin on that today. Truth. Right? Truth. There you go. As for me and my house, you will find us serving truth. As for me and my house, you will find us serving truth. As for me and my house, you will find us serving truth. Truth for all right now. How about some hope? As for me and my house, you will find us serving hope. As for me and my house, you will find us serving hope. As for me and my house, you will find us serving hope. Hope for all right now. Back to peace. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you will find us serving peace. Peace for all right now.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. My name is Charlie Ahern. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm joined today by Tom Winter, who will be delivering our sermon today. I am a worship associate of this church. Over the last few years, the way we have met has often changed, but whether in person, on Zoom, or on a YouTube live stream, or some way of being that we cannot yet imagine. Worshiping together is a chance to deepen our connection with the sources of meaning in our lives, and to proclaim who we are and what we are about. Throwing open the doors of our congregation and proclaiming the radical love and welcome that is at the heart of our faith. At this time, Sue Goebel, a member of the Board of Trustees, would like to offer some announcements.
Welcome. I'm Sue Goebel, a member of the Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting for the first time. I have a few announcements to share, well, two really, as our church community extends beyond Sunday morning worship. Our summer Indigenous programming begins next Sunday. Please take a look at the flyer that is being distributed today for all of the details of many wonderful opportunities in July. For example, on Friday, July 11th, we will show the movie Seed Warriors, directed by Rebecca Schlichting, who has also begun work on a new documentary called Walking in the Footsteps of Our Ancestors. In other news, this is Abby Lemberg McDowell. Abby is our youth ministry coordinator. If you have youth of any age who attend our church, Abby wants to connect with you. You are invited to a parents' retreat on Saturday, July 19th, starting at 10 a.m. and ending with a brunch and conversation in the gallery. Help us learn how to best support you, the parents and caregivers in our community. Thank you.
The Unitarian Church of Lincoln aspires to be a loving community uniting reason with spiritual exploration to transform ourselves and the world. We have a big vision here, and we know that creating a loving community begins with welcome. So whether this is your first time here or your 500th time, if you came here hopeful or heartbroken, whatever your age, gender, skin color, whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we enter into worship, take a moment to center yourself in this place. And I would just want to mention that after the service, Karen and Steph will be meeting any newcomers or people interested in more learning about the congregation in the library, which is behind the big tree in that corner. Find a comfortable place with your body. Take a few deep breaths, and let us continue into worship with our chalice lighting. The Stream of Life by Rabindranath Tagore. I probably mispronounced that. The Stream of Life. The same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean, cradle of birth and death in ebb and flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. So now let's join in hymn 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
And before we start, I will not be here in July, so I've got some people who are going to help cover some singing. If they want to come up now and just help lead this, that'd be awesome. If not, that's fine too. We know this one pretty well, and so we'll sing it through once, and then we'll do it in a round. So please rise in body or spirit as we're able.
Good morning. I'm Kathy, and if any little people would like to come down, I have an actual book that we will use with pages and pictures, and the big kids can kind of look at it as best they can. It'll work out great. Today, Tom is going to be talking about ancient Greece, which is the country of Greece a really, really long time ago. And I have this book here called Modern Rhymes About Ancient Times, Ancient Greece. So these are little rhymes and things about different things about ancient Greece. And we don't have to understand what ancient Greece was about. We just want to enjoy some fun rhymes. So, some people will understand what this is, the subjects, and some won't. But here, this is the page with the grapes on it. This is called Aesop's Fables. The Boy and the Wolf, the Fox and the Grapes. You've read them in books. You've seen them on tapes. Written by Aesop, an ancient Greek slave, they each have a lesson on how to behave. His dozens of fables have morals so true that though they're quite old, they sound just like new. The next one is about a guy with a really long and kind of ancient Greek-y kind of name called Herodotus. Herodotus, the father of history. The father of history, that's what he's called. Important events he described and recalled. He wrote about Persia, he wrote about Greece, he wrote about wars, he wrote about peace. Herodotus told us a lot that we know about things that happened a long time ago. This next one is called, another guy's name is kind of long, Archimedes. And this is Archimedes in his bathtub. Bright Archimedes, brilliant Greek scientist, sat and relaxed in his bath. He studied the water, and what he discovered set scientists on a new path. He saw that an object, when placed in the water, always displaced its own weight. He shouted, "Eureka!" which means, "I have found it," then dried off and felt really great. This next one is called Trojan Horse, and it's about war, but it's about a trick too. This story is a famous one. It's one that you should know, about deceit and trickery that happened long ago. It seems the Greeks and Trojans were in a nasty fight. The sturdy walls surrounding Troy could challenge dynamite. The Greeks were stumped. What should they do? They all were mystified. How could they win the battle if they couldn't get inside? And so they built a giant horse to fool the folks of Troy, who'd think it was a gift for them, a great big wooden toy. The Greeks then brought the wooden horse and left it by the gate. The Trojans dragged the horse inside, and thus they sealed their fate. Hidden in the horse were Greeks, who opened up the door. They let their fellow soldiers in and won the Trojan War. Just like that. This next one is about Zeus, who is a Greek god, and there is his picture. You know about Zeus? All right. Mighty Zeus was king of the gods. Poseidon ruled the sea. Hades ruled the underworld. They were the reigning three. Zeus controlled the weather with power good and bad. He threw his mighty thunderbolts whenever he got mad. Though mighty Zeus was king of gods, revered all over Greece, his wife, the goddess Hera, would never give him peace. Whenever Zeus had gone too far, his wife would fume and fuss, because back in Greece, the ancient gods had problems, just like us. This is the Minotaur, another kind of a gross and creepy story, but we're going to read this. You'll find that a lot in ancient Greek myths. The Minotaur was a monster with nasty personal habits. A man with the head of a bull, he ate people as if they were rabbits. To keep him relaxed and quite cheerful, they didn't have antidepressants. Each 9 years, the people would feed him a meal of 14 adolescents. He lived in a maze called a labyrinth, according to this ancient fable. The Minotaur found it quite cozy, though it hadn't been wired for cable. Then Theseus entered the maze, and though he expected resistance, he took out his magical sword and ended the monster's existence. We got two more. One is called The Myth of the Fates, and that's these three ladies down here. In peacetime and battle, through silence and strife, the Greeks often spoke of the great thread of life. How long will you live, and when will you die? The Greeks thought these judgments were made from on high. Three glinty-eyed goddesses known as the Fates made all these decisions, selecting the dates. One fate did the spinning, one measured the thread, and when the third cut it, that's it. You're dead. And this one is about Medusa, our last one. That's this lady here. Medusa had only bad hair days because snakes grew right out of her head. They writhed, they slithered, they hissed, they coiled. Medusa filled people with dread. Medusa had one other problem. It tended to keep her alone. If people should happen to look at her face, they instantly turned into stone. Those Greeks had a lot of strange things going on, but this is a good book. Modern rhymes about ancient times. They have other places and countries if you want to go check these things out. That is the end of our Time for All Ages. I think the children are dismissed to the classrooms, and we'll have our first piece of music.
A central part of our services is the time when we gather together as a community to mark the moments in our lives. We share with one another our joys, our sorrows, the events that mark the steps on our journey. The threads of sorrow and those of joy are intertwined in the fabric of our lives. Present for all, remembered by all. We share those threads and then they are woven together with those of others in our community. Our joys are shared and magnified, and we are comforted in our sorrows. I invite you to type into the chat or speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in sorrow.
Mark Fight.
Mark Fight. Brent.
Matea Sherman.
Matea Sherman.
Katie Logan.
Katie Logan.
Jean Balderston.
Jean Balderson.
Beth.
Excuse me?
Beth.
Dad?
No, Beth. B-E-T-H.
Oh, I'm sorry. Beth.
Lily Hands.
Lily
Hands.
Han?
H-A-N-S.
Hands. Lily Hands.
Marilyn.
Marilyn. In the chat, Laura Lee mentions Kelsey. I invite you to type into the chat or speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in joy.
Katie Logan.
Katie Logan.
David
Jack Hill.
and Jennifer.
David and Jennifer.
Jack Hills. His birthday's on the 4th.
Jack Helms, his birthday is on the 4th of July.
Jan Wilson finished cancer treatment.
Jan Wilson finished cancer treatment.
I finished my drug and alcohol counseling classes at SCC.
Someone said he finished his drug and alcohol counseling course at SCC. We know too that there are some joy. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that was it. We know too that there are some joys and some sorrows that are yet unspoken, but still deeply felt. Let us hold a moment of silence for everything unspoken. And thank you for your presence. Please remain seated and join me in singing Dona Nobis Pacem.
Nobis
sing today is Ode on a Grecian Urn by John Keats. Thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time, sylvan historian, who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme? What leaf-ringed legend haunts about thy shape, of deities and mortals, or of both? In Tempe or in the dales of Arcady, what men or gods are these? What maidens loath? What mad pursuit, what struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels? What wild ecstasy? Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes play on. Not to the sensual ear, but more endeared, pipe to the spirit, ditties of no tone. Fair youth, beneath the trees, thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can these trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss. Though winning near the goal yet, do not grieve, she cannot fade. Though thou hast not thy bliss, forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Ah, happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu, and happy melodists unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. More happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever panting, forever young. All breathing human passion far above, that leaves a heart high, sorrowful, and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parched tongue. Who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadest thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed? What little town by the river or seashore or mountain built with peaceful citadel is emptied of this folk, this pious morn? And little town, thy streets forevermore will be silent, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate can e'er return. O Attic shape, fair attitude, with bread of marble, men and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form dost tease us out of our thought, as doth eternity cold pastoral. When old age shall be this generation waste, thou shalt remain in the midst of other woe than ours, a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth, beauty. That is all you need to know on earth, and all you need to know. Let's see. Offering. Each week we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we all grow from our participation in this community, we all give back through our time, our talent, and our treasure. As the song plays, the ushers will pass our offering plates. You can also give by texting UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. The offering will now be gratefully received.
First, I must say, you hear hymns differently here on the dais. You have no idea how good you sound. Truly. For now, escape with me into antiquity. I'll begin with a flood myth. The flood of Deucalion and Pyrrha, Sailor Boy and Blondie in English. And we'll end with another flood myth, with in between several principles of mythology. A flood is a catastrophe. Catastrophes have their own pattern. Pat Robertson knows the deal. You'll remember he blamed hurricanes on God's wrath for abortion. I thought I read him in Iliad Book 1. You sinned bad, so the gods are going to get you. The sequence went like this. A catastrophe happens. B, we consult a priest to find out which god is angry. C, the priest reveals which god is angry. D, the priest reveals which deed angered the god. E, the priest reveals how to get right with the angry god. And we begin the story with the sin. Okay, first flood. Zeus and Hermes, his accompanying faithful Indian companion, Tonto, messenger god, are visiting mortals to find out who's been naughty or nice. Yes, that is on its way to Santa Claus mythology. Centuries later, the gods have developed in the human mind and have no need to spy in person. Santa just knows. Well, more on that anon. But there was this brash mortal named Wolfing, Lycaon in Greek, who doesn't believe Hermes and Zeus are gods, and to prove that they are faking it, serves them a stew of human flesh. What sin could be worse? Angered, they turn him into the first wolf. And that is the instance for all the sin of humankind, and Zeus is going to destroy the world with fire. But the flames might reach Olympus. Okay then, flood! Zeus, of course, could do it all by himself, but there are river gods to help. Every river is a god. A local god maybe, but a powerful one. Remember that. All is going according to plan when Zeus, by chance, no pre-planning, just by chance, spots Deucalion and Pyrrha. Oh, shucks, they're okay. And so, though all the world is destroyed by flood, Deucalion and Pyrrha survive. Puzzled, how to repopulate the earth? They consult the oracle of the last god to leave the earth, Themis. They get this response: throw the bones of your mother behind you, over your shoulders. The impiety of this shocks Deucalion. Pyrrha, though, clever girl, figures it out. Our mother is the earth. Stones are her bones. Deucalion's thrown stones take Croton, grow to men. Pyrrha's thrown stones turn into women. What's going on here is simply a word myth. The Greek word for stones and the Greek word for people are the same word, with just a shift of which syllable is stressed. And so, This myth explains why mortals have hearts of stone. At this point, we must shift to the 2nd century AD, when a public intellectual was accused of winning a rich widow with magic. His accusers claimed he collected varieties of fish to use in magic potions. But he has an alibi. He was in the mountains, where the sea creatures are left there from the flood of Deucalion and Pyrrha. Well, if that doesn't give the game away. Bible fans use the universality of flood myths to confirm faith, even finance expeditions to find the Ark on Ararat. Limestone, though, is everywhere. Limestone is formed underwater. The peak of Mount Everest is limestone. Put yourself in the age that knows nothing of subsidence, nothing of uplift. You stand on a mountainside. You see the fossil seashells. And what can you think? Oh my, the water was up this high. Zeus must have been really pissed. Flood myths simply explain why creatures from the sea end up mountain high. My favorite instance of the mechanics of myth explaining catastrophe is back to the Trojan horse, the beginning of the Iliad. Each warrior in the siege of Troy has captive maidens. One such was the daughter of a priest of Apollo who is not happy. He comes to the Greek camp to ransom his daughter. Agamemnon, who makes the wrong choice every time he has to make a decision, sends the man away with threats. The old man walks along the Polyploi's boisterous sea, weeping and praying to Apollo. If ever I have offered you sacrifice, may the Greeks pay for your... No, may the Greeks pay for my tears with your arrows. Apollo hears and angry descends from Olympus, sits on a mountainside and begins shooting his arrows, death from an unseen source like your heart attack, are the plague. Now here I would have told the Greeks, don't put the latrine uphill from your water supply. But it's Homer, and the plague is Apollo's arrows. We summon a priest. He tells us Agamemnon angered Apollo, and Agamemnon must get right with Apollo. How? By giving the daughter back to Apollo's priest with wealth besides. Agamemnon yields, but in compensation insists on one of Achilles' captive women, which leads to the other title of the Iliad, The Wrath of Achilles. And from there it gets epic. Well, that story of Zeus and Hermes checking out mortal behavior illustrates a principle that held sway for centuries. An unnamed character in the Odyssey speaks it. Antinous, you did wrong to strike the wandering beggar. You are cursed, if he perchance be a god. For the gods indeed in mortal guise do wander among us, observing our deeds. The belief continues, you see it in the New Testament, Hebrews, where we are minded to be hospitable to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. In a gospel setting, you have to say angels instead of Zeus and Hermes. But Zeus does not limit himself to disguise as wandering beggars. His most famous disguise was as Amphitryon. Amphitryon, whose name has become a synonym for cuckold, had for wife the beautiful Alcmena. Zeus is smitten. Zeus disguises himself as Amphitryon. Innocent Alcmena imagines her husband Amphitryon has come home early from his war. Zeus has such a grand time that he extends the hours of the night. Yes, the mythic explanation for the longest night of the year is earthy. Why is the night so long, Daddy? Well, Zeus is having his fun. The Roman comic playwright Plautus, in his comedy Amphitryon, has Mercury, Roman name for Hercules, guard the door through the night. Also in Plautus, Hercules is born that same night. He grows to manhood. Oh my gosh. Hercules was born on the winter solstice. That's late December. Never mind. Basic pattern of mythology here. The great sky god, an earth girl. A son is born who lives to manhood, dies, and becomes a god. It was everywhere. Herodotus, you've heard of him now. Herodotus tells us that the Greeks were surprised to find a Hercules wherever they went. In fact, Alexander the Great, before laying siege to Tyre of Phoenicia, proclaims all he wants to do is enter the city to offer sacrifice to Hercules. But of course, in Tyre of Phoenicia, they called him Marduk. Even England has a Hercules. Uther Pendragon, smitten with Igraine, has Merlin disguise him as Igraine's husband. And the result is Arthur, the once and future king. And of course, the search for the historic Arthur is doomed. Marduk automatically being identified with Hercules brings to mind the great advantage of polytheism. The same backstory, different name, doesn't matter, same God. I liken it to chess, where if the piece moves 2 over and 1 up, it's a knight, no matter what the local name of it is. Different name is nothing to get hung about. There are, in fact, no wars over religion until the triumph of the monotheists. I do not count monotheism as either an intellectual or a moral advance, rather a step backward. It's not just Zeus who produces progeny. Gaia, the great mother, can do it all by herself. Her children are giants and deathless. Our word giants comes from gigantes, which means those born of earth. They cannot be killed, only overcome and buried underground. This means that the animistic principle gives personhood to volcanoes. The greatest of these monsters is Typhoeus. The day he was born, Hesiod informs us, he would have overcome heaven and earth, but Zeus fought him, and the heat of the battle, giveaway here, melted stone. Zeus's weapon is the lightning bolt, and his weapons in the titanic struggle with the monster we now call volcanic lightning. All those charged particles, of course. And Typhoeus arose again the first week of this month, for Hesiod gives enough data that we can confidently say Typhoeus is Etna in Sicily. The best personification of a giant in myth is Polyphemus, sired by Poseidon in the Odyssey. Odysseus and his companions enter his cave, which Polyphemus closes with a big stone so big, how big was it? 20 wagons couldn't have moved it. Odysseus cleverly gets him drunk, burns out his one eye with a burning brand, and escapes when Polyphemus lets his flock out of the cave. Why did Polyphemus have only one eye? Well, if he had two, you burn out one, he still can see you. When Polyphemus blindly throws ship-sized boulders at the retreating fleet, it gives the game away. Sky god, earth goddess, sea god become briefly to Poseidon. Poseidon it is who sends the bull from the sea. We now pronounce the bull from the sea tsunami. Everyone asks, did the Greeks believe in their gods? Well, yes. Poseidon sent them unmistakable messages. Many times in the Greek historians, we see that an earthquake is a message from Poseidon to stop whatever you're embarked on. Instances abound. I'll stop at 3. A Spartan expedition got commissioned to attack Argos. Poseidon interrupted with an earthquake. The Spartan army had a perfect excuse to come back home unblamed. Happened again when the Spartans set off against Attica. Poseidon said no. Third example, once Spartan serfs, the Helots, took refuge as suppliants in the temple of Poseidon. The Spartans, like today's ICE agents, hauled them out and killed them. Out of a temple? Out of refuge? Such an obvious sacrilege, so stupid. And the Spartans knew bloody well that the subsequent earthquake at Sparta was the anger of Poseidon. Sin. I read, frankly, Sodom and Gomorrah in the same pattern. Obviously, those towns were destroyed by earthquake. Obviously, a god did it. Obviously, a god was very angry. Why was God angry? We'll come up with something. And the something is how the story begins. But messages from Zeus are less earth-shaking. Any involuntary act is ascribed to the gods. Even a dream is from Zeus. A sneeze. What? Yes, it's involuntary. You didn't do it. It just happened. A sneeze in antiquity marked the immediately preceding utterance as a portent, prophecy. When you fall asleep without intending, that was Hermes touching you with his wand. Ditto on the other side. Why am I awake? That was Hermes.
What did you do, Tom?
You've caught my point. I could stop right here. Daphne, among the lesser gods, was the daughter of a river god. Now, if you're wondering how a river can sire children, well, once you impose personhood on a part of nature, that personification can do person things. Daphne had obtained a great boon from her father that she would never have to put up with a man. Of course, Daphne was irresistible. Apollo sees her. Apollo is smitten, loves, pursues, pleading his case on the run. Once upon a time, I was so innocent I asked, why is Apollo chasing Daphne? Yeah. Professor Steiner paused for a moment and said, the usual reason. But as soon as Apollo catches up, victory is lost as she turns into a tree, the laurel tree. And that is the myth to explain why the laurel is sacred to Apollo. And when Apollo awards a prize, it's a laurel wreath. And you are, for instance, Ted Kooser, poet laureate. Or it's backwards. And the myth is to explain why the laurel is sacred to Apollo. I don't know which way it went. But Daphne is not alone. Every tree has an associated myth. Sorry. Specifically, an associated nymph. Who are they? Well, Hesiod tells us there are 30,000 nymphs, and people knew them, know their names. Nymphs are also tied to springs or to a specific place. There can be the nymph of a grove. There's one in the wilding part of our yard, but I don't know her name. Romans were less imaginative than Greeks. The nymph of a place for Romans is the genius of the place. From the Roman world, we see inscriptions and dedications to the genius of the place. And there is a difference. You, personally, have a genius. Everyone has a genius. It corresponds to the Ka of Egyptian mythology. Your genius, like your Egyptian Ka, has a separate existence. If in memory you are watching yourself, your Ka could explain that. Further, in Plutarch, it's not great Caesar's ghost that warns Brutus before Philippi, but Brutus's genius. Meanwhile, back to Hermes and Zeus. They are continuing their quest for hospitable or inhospitable people. But since our source for this is a Roman poet, I'll now call them Jove and Mercury. Jove is, of course, the god of hospitality, which is why a good host is jovial. In one village, all doors are barred to them till they come to a humble hovel and get invited in. The elderly man chats them up. The elderly woman does the work. There are nice touches. She rubs mint on the table. There is a potsherd under one of the legs so it doesn't wobble. She trims meat from the haunch over the fire, pours wine, and here is where they tumble. The wine does not run out. Embarrassed at her humble offerings, the old woman decides to offer them the goose as well. She can't catch up with this goose. It takes shelter in the lap of Jove himself, but at this point, Jove has seen enough. Come with us! And all four climb within a bow shot of the mountaintop. And when they look back, all the village is flooded. The posts of their abode have become marble columns as their home is transformed into a temple of Jove, which it was de facto anyway, given their hospitable nature. And they get a wish. Their wish to be the temple's caretakers, and that neither may see the other die. And so they spend out their days, till one day they see each other leafing out, becoming trees. they have time for one last I love you before the transformation is completed. And if you don't believe me, I can show you the trees, and oak and a linden, deeply rooted in the earth and closely intertwined.
So please join me in hymn 389, Gathered Here.
Stand. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draws near. Spirit, draw near.
If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace.